Chapter 23. New God Money, the Economic Genocide of the Middle Class. In our world today, we have a denial of God and a manufacturing of atheism in our school systems and universities in the Western world. The school systems and universities are systematic factories that pump the youth's brains full of communist propaganda and atheism as a religion. When America was the greatest country in the world, America's schools preached freedom, capitalist ideals, and Judeo-Christian values in the classroom that were the backbone of our great Western civilization. We have since torn out the brains of our civilization, the capitalist philosophy, and ripped out the backbone, Judeo-Christian values. Now we have a spineless, brainless body that runs on communist philosophy and atheism. This is one of the major sources of our weak men of today, men with no fathers, raised by the state alone, who go to school in a communist factory and worship nothing and believe in nothing. A man who stands for nothing will fall for anything. A man who believes nothing will stand for nothing, and over time he will eventually become nothing. This is the trade that destroys the empire. It's been slowly subverting Western society since the 1940s, and like a boiled frog, the temperature on the water has been slowly turned up 1 degree at a time, and before the frog can realize that the water is too hot and jump out, the frog is boiled. We are very close to becoming boiled frogs in today's Western civilization. If the frog was cast into a bubbling, boiling pot of hot water, it would shock his senses, and he would have the sense to reject the boiling water and jump out to reject the changes. But these social changes are happening very slowly over 80 years, and we, the frogs, have lost all perspective on what made us into a strong society and why it worked. We are entering hard times with a population of weak men. The weak men of today are not here because it is their fault. The changes that have occurred over the last 80 years have brought down the pillars of Western philosophy and beliefs that made us strong. We have traded our strength for weakness, and this is our fatal error. It is philosophical battle, a spiritual battle, not a battle fought on the front lines with guns, bullets, and bayonets. This is a battle fought within the heart of each man, and the enemies are invisible, unkillable, and coming from all sides. The 4 stages of subversion, from Yuri Bezmenov, Soviet KGB subversion expert 1, demoralization. It takes 15 to 20 years to demoralize a society. It includes influencing, infiltration, propaganda, etc., of various areas where public opinion is shaped: religion, educational system, social life, administration, law enforcement systems, military and labor-employer relations. Exploit the people within the society who are ideologically opposed to the system. Use small groups of agents from foreign nations. Distract people from real faith and replace it with artificial faiths in other systems. In education, distract them from learning something constructive, pragmatic, and efficient. Instead of mathematics, chemistry, history, teach them sexuality, home economy, anything to distract. In social life, replace traditionally established institutions with fake organizations. Take away the initiative from people. Take away the natural links between individuals and replace them with bureaucratically controlled systems. Establish social workers' institutions ruled by bureaucracy. Eliminate the family and replace the main concern with the paycheck from the government. In government, replace elected officials with unelected bureaucrats who control the people. In the major media like the New York Times, you don't have to be an excellent journalist. You have to be exactly a mediocre journalist. For the power structure, it is slowly eroded by those who do not have qualifications nor the will of the people. Law enforcement. Put into place a slow substitution of basic moral principles, where someone who used to be a criminal is now considered a victim. Labor relations. Destroy the traditionally established links of bargaining between employer and employee. Obedient workers follow their leaders. Democracy is not a system of equality. It is a system where diverse people of different backgrounds have the chance to compete and thrive. Second, destabilization. Destabilize all the accepted institutions and organizations of your enemy. There is no crime if a professor introduces a course of communism or Marxism into a California college. The radicalization of negotiations between labor and employers. Normalizing violent protests. The media places itself in opposition to society to alienate the people. Third crisis. The process starts when the legitimate bodies of power cannot function anymore. Instead, artificial bodies are injected into society, such as non-elected committees. They claim power on how to run your life. If power is denied to them, they take it by force. They are often half-baked intellectuals from Harvard or somewhere. They think they know the answers to social problems. The population at large is looking for a savior to solve the crisis that has been artificially created. They call for socialist government, centralized power. A savior is needed. The savior is then provided as the foreign nation, or the sleeper agents. They call it a revolution. They say, "I will lead you." The two alternatives here are 1. Civil war, 2. Invasion, 4. Normalization. This stage is to make the subversion results seem normal to the people. Your country is normalized. At this point, the workers don't demand a revolution anymore. This is stabilizing the country by force. Activists, liberals, social workers, homosexuals, professors, and Marxists are being eliminated because they are not needed anymore. The new owners need stability to exploit the nation and take advantage of the victory. The Marxists shoot their own revolutionaries. Once the subverted culture is normalized, the only way to reverse the course of the country is through military intervention. The most difficult and simplest answer against subversion is to start it before the demoralization stage. Bring back religion to restore stability to society. Halt cultural Marxism from marching forward. As part of normalization, allow the criminals to have civil rights and bring crisis to the country. To defend against this, do not allow them to take political power. Do not elect them into power. It must be driven into the heads of the American voters that a person like that is an enemy of the state. Restriction of certain freedoms would prevent sliding into crisis. To curb unlimited power of the trade unions would save the economy from collapse. To introduce a law to stop private companies of raping public opinions in the direction of consumerism. No company must have a right to force you into buying more unless you want. Demoralization is the easiest thing to reverse. Restrict the import of propaganda. The unrestrained import of Soviet journalists. It has to be stopped. They won't be offended. They will respect America more. My colleague appears on Nightline and Ted Koppel asks him, "What do you think?" What can he think? He is a propaganda mouthpiece for the Soviet Empire. The process of demoralization will not start at all if the country prevents the importation of foreign ideology. You don't have to shoot every foreigner, but when he offers you junk in the disguise of shiny something, you have to tell him, "No, we have our own junk." If the country is strong enough to stop the importation of ideas which are foreign, then the whole chain of subversion can be prevented. Many societies throughout history collapsed the moment they lost religion. The idea of human beings as intelligent moral agents of God can prevent collapse. But all the technology and computers will not prevent collapse. No one will fight to defend 2 + 2 = 4, but millions will fight to protect God and religious faith. The answer to ideological subversion is very simple. You don't have to shoot people. You simply have to have faith and prevent subversion, not to be a victim of subversion. Strike not with force, but with the superiority of your intellect. https://GUI www.naturalnews.com 2017-01-09 Communist Subversion of America is nearly complete left-wing media, Soviet-style, overthrow Yuri Bezmenov. Chtimol. So there you have it. We are in Stage 3 subversion in the Western world as outlined by Yuri Bezmenov, Soviet KGB subversion expert. The Western men have been made weak. The family has been destroyed. Women have been made into lesser men and taken away from their sacred purpose and jobs. Money has been debased. Religion has been marginalized and moved to the fringes, and politics has become a virtual circus. The next steps are 1. Civil war, or 2. Invasion. Rome was invaded by barbarians after a civil war and split into East and West. History. It starts with making the men weak, and then hard times set in. Good times create weak men create hard times, and hard times create strong men. You might think that subversion is conspiracy theory. You might still deny the fact that our society is being subverted by outside philosophies and undermined in values. You might think that can never happen here. But subversion has already been used in North America to wipe out the ruling group of people and take their land and everything valuable to them.